Welcome to Phoenix Rising. I have one of my very favorite people in the world with me, Mark A. Lyons, who, he's got the giggles now too. And the last time you had seen Mark on the show with me, only one of us had purple hair. And today, two of us have purple hair.
We're twinsies.
We are twinsies.
Purple hair
Only you have
twinsies.
blue eyes. I have the green eyes.
Well, there we go.
But we're both quite unique in our own
Let's not swap
little way.
one each.
No.
Painful. You just got your eyes.
I just got new eyes.
Yeah, you keep them.
Which
Mine
is
are
just
good.
amazing because
yeah.
if this show was done last month, I would not be able to see your face in the clarity I see. And now I see how gorgeous you are. Dee, 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 dee. So yes, we are very low key and quiet. Mark had an idea about today's show. So after I introduce him again, which you all know that he's here, of course, and have him give you his contact information, Mark thought about doing an on-air reading of me.
Yeah. So yesterday, I had to run my errands because I try and get my errands done during the day so I can get my parking spot in front of my house, right?
Okay, sounds good.
Because I live in a community, it's like, oh, it's not my spot, but it's my spot.
But it's your spot.
But it's my spot. No, it's not. So I race around, I get back, and as I'm walking in the door with my stuff, I'm like, and it wasn't my idea. It was just the guides, the gods, the masters.
They come in and they say, knock, knock.
They're like, you should, since you're going to be talking about the path of true love, why don't you give her a true love reading? I was like, oh, because that's what I've been doing nonstop, particularly since I started doing them on YouTube, doing reading for the collective. I'm so used to reading people one-on-one, like that's my forte. That's where I'm really good. I can get detailed, the Virgo that I am. But this has been a little bit of a mind blow for me reading on my YouTube channel. So I do one for each sign, Aries,
They're
Taurus.
wonderful. I've been watching
and the
them.
feedback I'm getting from people, I'm like, how can you be so specific? I'm like, I don't really know.
But yes, you do know.
Because I'm tapping into the collective. And
you're getting out of your own way, sweetheart.
And I think that we're all going through a major upgrade right now. The light workers, although that word is a little clunky in my mouth nowadays because so many people have called themselves light workers and then stab you in the back as hard as they can. I'm just saying. Maybe that's a New York thing too. But that because of the times we are in politically, socially, economically, globally in the sense of the ecosystems, right? And all of that we are in such a tower moment again in the tarot. That remember that the card of the tower in the tarot is struck by a bolt of lightning, but in the traditional Rider-Waite deck, there are all these little seeds of light in the air called the Yod, Y-O-D. That's Hebrew, the Hebrew letter for the finger of God.
Right.
So there's a lot of divine intervention stuff going on, whether or not it's the end times or the apocalypse, because I've heard a whole spectrum of those stories. It is true, the book of Revelations is reading like a shopping list. If you read it, just saying, not my book, but just saying. So it feels like what my work is right now is to help people on the path of true love, because love is the answer. And not all of us are social justice revolutionaries anymore. I'm too effing tired to pick it. Like I went to Gay Pride, World Pride in June, and like I said, we like bar hopped and circumnavigated because it was me and my friend
and you
Mark.
had a grand time.
We had a great time.
And at my age, closer to 100 than I am to 25, I can't believe that I am still, for where my path is, still getting out there at candlelight vigils. Still was in the city 2 years ago with my pink hat,
So let me put it to you this way.
Put it.
This isn't my theory. This isn't it's spirituality that I agree with. It's spiritual concept, but like most theory, can't be proven or disproven. That there are essentially 3 waves of incarnating souls on the planet right now. And again, this is not mine. I didn't just pull this out of my root chakra.
I was waiting for what was going to come out.
So the first waves have been here pretty much the longest. We are the emotional sensitives, the empaths. We came here to transform the planet through the interior work. Self-love, all this intuitive stuff, it represents the divine feminine half of the equation. Now, feminine not necessarily meaning gender. In fact, it rarely does, because everybody has both masculine and feminine energies. But because it had been suppressed for so long, pick your era, right?
Yeah, and it's there, it's there.
Thousands, millennials, right? That now it is rising. So what we're doing is we are transforming the world by our own internal work and by serving others with things like vigils. Things are a bit more yin, not necessarily passive, but divine feminine. The second wavers are the social justicers. They are the ones that are picketing. And I used to have a dose of that when I was younger, but I don't know if I grew out of it or if it was like a time release mechanism that you're going to do this for a while, but here's what you really came in to do. Because I found that when I was protesting, a lot of the anger that was coming up inside of me was my anger. That I had to heal with. Otherwise, it didn't matter what the activity was. It was still being fueled by anger, wrath, and rage.
Right.
Not great. Wrath is a deadly sin. So moving on from that. So that makes sense. You've got the divine feminine and the divine masculine. But then there's this third wave that came in to merge with the technology. To be one with the phone, to get implants, not just the earbuds, like eventually there's going to be like, and this is so tinfoil hat woo-woo land for me personally.
The things in the ears.
But they're going to have ones that are eventually you can implant in your body. And I'm like, I'll pass. I got enough accessories.
There was something on the news last year about people chipping themselves.
Rock and
it's
roll,
there.
if that's what you came in to do, I'm like,
not me.
I got
Thanks
enough metal
anyway.
on,
Yeah,
don't
no,
need it in.
no.
So to me, that's why the path of true love is so important. That is my work right now. I've taught witchcraft, I've taught tarot, I've taught chakras, mysticism. Right now, the gods are like, focus, kid. You're teaching about the path of true love. So what is the path of true love? I got such clarity on this doing these videos. Drawing the Circle on YouTube.
Yes.
Just saying.
And they're wonderful.
They're fun. And I have
They
a field day
really
doing them.
are.
If I didn't enjoy them, I wouldn't be doing it. But I'm having a field day, and so are my cats. If you watch them, my cats are all over the place. They're having a field
adore
day,
them.
especially the Leo cat. So the path of true love is an archetypal lens through which to look at your spiritual path, your healing path, your personal path, seeing your relationships as a means to the transformation of your life and the healing of this world.
Okay.
And it ain't easy. Path of true love, doesn't it sound nice?
No, it doesn't.
You're right.
I mean, if I was 18 years old, still in some sort of bubble of la la land, of you go to school, you graduate, you meet the love of your life.
Divorce. People
Right.
say before you're
Yes.
first married, before
And
your first divorce.
At that point, you don't have a chance to mature, to fine-tune yourself, to have experiences, to become multifaceted.
But the path will give you that if you keep walking.
And I walked, I ran, I skipped, I hopped, I bobsledded.
I slid on my back for
That's
some of
right.
it because it was the 90s.
Yeah.
So just a couple of things I want to
Mine
clarify.
was the 60s,
The 80s,
but it was the
I
same
can't
thing,
remember
yeah.
the 80s, and nor do I really need to. But now here's the thing. I'm writing this book called The Path of True Love. It's not a how-to, stepping stones that I have cobbled together on my path because I've gotten pretty far, even though I'm not in a committed true love, twin flame, soulmate relationship, and those three terms mean totally different things to me.
Right.
But that being said, it is the means through which at least the first wavers can use their relationships and not even use them, see them like you would through a lens as, oh my God, every relationship I've ever had, romantic, familial, employment, even with governmental people you'll never meet. Like there are certain politicians that are triggering you, they're supposed to trigger you in the first wave to go within and say, okay, well, what's that hatred about? Why am I so triggered by that? And to heal that path.
And
So
where is
all
it triggering me and where in my body?
in your chakras, etc. Carolyn Mace, Anatomy of the Spirit. In other words, we have the tools, but we've been sort of like, but what power do I have to make change in this world? We're doing it from the divine feminine, from the level of the yin, that then of course will give birth to new yang. Oy, that's a lot of metaphor for the first 10 minutes
People are
going to
have to replay that part
well,
a few times.
I'm a teacher first and foremost.
Yes.
So what I've been doing are these true love readings for people. Now I started just doing them for myself like years ago, developing different spreads, but most like, okay, what the hell happened to him? Oh, tower, okay, not me. Right? Keep
I was
shuffling,
going
keep
to
shuffling.
ask you, you have 5 decks.
Yep.
You told me you were bringing 5 decks.
Yep, all on
you
selenite too.
use them in conjunction with one another?
Yes, it is.
Or is each one?
Each one is a different, I don't like using this word, but I will, different channel of divinity. In other words, the previous guest who was in here works a lot with people who are recently departed and stuff like that. Like I don't get that band on my radio.
Right.
I deal with guides, masters, teachers, gods, goddesses, saints, angels, totems, healers, and ancestors. In other words, only those that are of I don't want to say a higher vibration, but of a higher resonance that are here to help and guide.
Right.
Some of them have never incarnated on planet Earth like a lot of the angels. Like the angels are like, what is this thing you call money? I'm like, I need some right now. Can I get a Urielite on the phone? The Urielites know, right? They know about cash. Right? The gods, some of them have incarnated, some of them have walked the planet, I'm sure. Plus we carry their DNA in us. That's a whole other show.
Yeah. And we need to do that show.
And they do stories, but then the Ascended Masters, which I'm wicked leery about talking about Ascended Masters, they are the ones that have been in the game, have been human, and know the details and the ins and outs, and I think their sense of humor is hysterical. So
and
that's
wicked.
what I use these. Well, absolutely they can be, because they get the humor of us searching for the true love that we already are. They're like, such a paradox, kids, but have at it. And they're very non-judgmental. They're very not like, whatever you got to do to get there, you'll get there. And that there is a divine plan in all of this. I'm not a fatalist. Like, I don't believe that every single thing is written in stone. I've studied too much about quantum physics. But that there is a quantum field through which we are playing a game, not unlike a single shooter video game, where we get to make choices, but all of the options have already been programmed. And so there are certain things that are fated, like our eye color. Faded, yeah, we can pluck them out and put in new ones.
Right.
But your DNA you can't change. Your genetic heritage, that's fate. But
That's
what
right.
do you do with it creates destiny. Well, just like in a video game, if there are certain points you have to be at a certain time, the game will arrange it so that you arrive exactly where you're supposed to, whether you're trying too hard to get there or trying to avoid it. Oh, it's like that story, Appointment in Samara. It's an old story about this man this is in the Middle East, Egypt, around there, runs into death in a cave, and he sees him and runs from him, and he runs to Samara, this other city, runs into death there, and the story is essentially it's like, you tried to run from me, that wasn't my appointment with you then. I had an appointment with you in Samara. So you can run from your fate as much as you want.
It's there.
But I also know that people are really, really suffering, because I am a Pisces moon empath. I feel everybody's everything. Most days I'm not exactly sure, is this personal or is it interpersonal? Am I feeling a mile around me, or am I feeling the collective in general? Which again makes these YouTube's readings way more accurate than I ever would have expected. So I know people are suffering on the path of true love. And again, the romantic sexual part, sure of it. Sure of it. I mean, that's always ever been. Well, maybe not in caveman days. I don't know.
And when we stand back and we watch the other people in our lives, our friends, some family members, and we see the dynamic of their intimate relationships, you're not looking in their bedrooms and stuff, but you know what I'm saying. And we see it so clearly, and they're still in this muck and in unhealthiness and in allowing themselves to be manipulated, or to having their ego so overinflated that they must manipulate whoever it is they are with.
So what I'm seeing is a lot of aggressive narcissists with a lot of passive narcissists. So you've got that passive aggressive, you've got the abuser and the martyr. It's very much a Celestine prophecy competition for energy, James Redfield, 19-something.
And interesting that you say passive narcissist, because that would not have occurred to me just off the top of my head.
Passive narcissist is a term I've just learned in the past year or so. It's people who are, like that first wave, very emotionally tuned in, very sensitive, but because they can feel you're in a bad mood, they immediately interpret it as you don't like them, or that they are angry at you. And so you people please them so that they will feel better about you, which is about as frickin' manipulative as you get. It's people pleasing. Right? And we all know, oh no, people pleasing bad, but this feels like it would make sense for a child in particular to walk into a room where people have been fighting, immediately take it personal, Don Miguel Ruiz for
internalize.
right? And then do everything it can, stand on its head, do cartwheels, gargle peanut butter, crawl across broken glass,
Don Miguel Ruiz,
anything.
because they downloaded the other energy
They took
into
it
themselves.
personally and are making assumptions, but you know, at 5 years old,
Yes.
you know, we're still learning our names, right? So that's why I feel like these readings are very, very helpful for people, because it doesn't give the, oh, he's going to call, or oh, she's doing this, or oh, she's doing that. It doesn't really work on that level. What it does is it gives such an overarching picture of where you are on your spiritual path through the lens of your relationships in general or specific. I'm only doing a general with you today because we are on camera. Like, if you have somebody in mind, don't tell me you have somebody in mind, because I don't want to know. I'd rather just read you generally.
Just read me. If something or somebody comes through,
We'll know.
you could say it. I don't have a problem.
So do you want to do this and then we'll talk about it?
Let's do it.
Let's do this. Okay, all right.
Let's do it.
So this is how I do it.
So, all right, everybody. I am putting myself out there. I'm being vulnerable, so be kind.
So take a few deep breaths and just kind of tune in, you know, even find that stillness within, focus on the breath, all that stuff. And I'm going to do my thing. God, Goddess, all that is, please give us one card, an archetypal card for the divine feminine. Oh, and she jumped out. For the divine feminine, the gambler. We'll do that to that card. Now, we'll figure out if you're the divine masculine or the divine feminine in this in a minute.
Okay.
So here we go. We're off to the races.
Oh, look, background is purple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so God, Goddess, all that is, please one card for the divine masculine in this relationship for Phoenix Redhawk on the path of true love. General Reed. General Reed. I feel you. I feel you. The warrior. Now, I will read these. These are the Caroline Myss archetype cards. I don't know if
Okay.
they were ever intended for divination by her, but boy, they suit this work well. So really quick. The divine feminine and the divine masculine. Now, you might be the feminine, but you might be the divine masculine, because we play different roles with different people.
Okay.
Like with my mom, I'm very much the prince. I am the divine masculine, and she is the queen, right? It's Hera and
Yes,
Dionysus.
and in your photographs together, it is so obvious.
Obvious,
It
right.
pours out of both of you.
Right, right. But with the guy that I love, I find that he's the divine masculine and I'm the divine feminine. So we toggle back and forth. So I'm going to read these quickly, right? The
Yeah.
gambler. Every archetype is light and shadow.
Right.
Okay. Light attribute, willingness to follow intuition even when others doubt you.
True.
Okay, so that connects. Shadow side, relying on luck rather than hard work.
Sometimes, yes.
Okay. So what you're looking for is not the intellectual so much as the, and
Yeah.
if you go, ugh, then you have it.
Yeah.
If you go, woo, then you have it. All right, the warrior. Light attribute, strength, skill, discipline, and toughness of will, heroism, stoicism, and self-sacrifice in conquering the ego.
I don't know that I'm that tough.
Yeah, I'm not feeling that in you either. See, that's the intuitive part of
Yeah,
it.
I
But let's
know.
do the shadow side anyway.
Okay.
Shadow attribute, trading ethical principles for victory at any cost, indifference to the suffering inflicted
Oh,
on
hell no.
others. That's
No,
not
that-
good. See, but that's what I mean. It's just like, it's not like,
Yeah.
oh.
Let me see the warrior
Yeah,
again,
yeah, yeah.
because here,
'Cause I'm gonna
let's
start
see,
tuning
light
in.
attributes, strength, skill, discipline. Oh, so not disciplined at times, because I don't even do an outline for the show, so
Yeah.
there's no discipline
No,
in me.
you're Gemini rising, we just found out,
Toughness
so
of
yeah.
will. I really don't know about that.
This feels
Heroism.
like you.
Maybe heroism, fighting for the underdog.
And this is what happens with archetypes. We want to figure them out up here, but the answer's in
Yeah.
here.
So there are more, oh, I'm doing the infinity sign here, how interesting. So there's more in the light, but
But we all have the shadow too.
Yeah.
And that's why I think this gambler, because you are a risk taker.
Yeah.
And you're willing to act on your intuition regardless of what anybody says. Okay, so now.
and like you are too, because
Oh,
here
I
we are willing to do these shows and not have a script and say, okay,
But
we're
you
going
know
to say
what?
this.
I remember going to
I
the
don't think life can be scripted.
I
like
remember,
that.
well, it is scripted, but not
To
by
some-
us. Yeah,
yeah.
not by us. So I remember my mom gave me $20. We went to a casino when I was younger, and she's like, "Here, go bet." I went to the bar and I got rum and cokes. Like
Okay.
I will not throw. Like I'm not that kind of gambler. But
Funny,
dye my
because
hair
my
purple.
mom did that with me about 10 years before she passed. And she took me to Atlantic City with her little blue-haired ladies. And she sat me down at a slot machine. I was so bored.
Yeah, I know, it's not my thing.
It was like, really? This is what you're doing? You know, could we go see a show? Could we find drums somewhere and drum?
I'm still dating people at 50. I think I gamble enough. Okay, so let's tune in here. My angels, particularly my Urielites, because there's a Capricorn. You're actually Capricorn, first degrees of Capricorn sun, according to your chart, as well as we'll ask for the Sagittarian, the Michaelites. So the Michaelites, there you are. And, and the Urielites. Please, one card overview for Phoenix Redhawk on the path of true love general reading. Truth and integrity. Now, having the truth card in a true love reading is a good start, because what the angels do is they give that celestial overview, like the broad stroke.
Okay.
That's why we got these. Now you'll see why I start.
The artwork is gorgeous on these cards.
That's the Healing Oracle, or Angels of Healing by Doreen Virtue. This is Daughters of the Moon Tarot. I've been reading this deck since I'm 19 years old.
How do you shuffle circular cards?
I have big hands. It's genetic. Thank you, the Sicilians.
You're going to start getting a lot of phone calls now.
Bring it on. I'm self-employed. I make my own sketch.
That's it.
Just you better hurry up, boys, because path of true love.
I dated a lot when I was 50. It was a hoot, honey.
Well, I think once you cross the 50 line, you're like, screw what anybody else thinks. Not that I had that to begin with. All right, so my gods. Now, my gods, my pantheon of 12, I ask you please for one card. See, the gods are different. They're going to give you a story. They're going to give you tarot. These other decks are not tarot. This one is.
Okay.
My gods, please, one card in clarity. Please clarify for Phoenix Redhawk on the path of true love. In general,
dancing.
A truth.
These cards are dancing. I don't know if the camera is picking that up, but the cards are dancing in his hand, which I think is hysterical.
A clue, a tip, a hint. The Empress. Ding, 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 ding. Okay, so we're looking at a major arcana card, major divine feminine thing here. Now, that doesn't just indicate you as the gambler in this, but saying that there is a fertility, that there is something being born, that it may be that this truth is gestating inside of you, but it still might not be visible, just like a baby gestating. Like if you don't have a pregnancy test and you're not watching your cycle, you may not know you're pregnant until, lasagna.
No. Lasagna. Corned beef. Corned beef and a knish.
Oh, a corned beef lasagna. Let's see.
Please, no.
Okay, that's instant intuition.
Pass on that.
All right, so this is how I read people face to face all the time.
This card is fascinating.
Yeah, you have a look. That's Mawu. Yeah, hold that up to the camera.
And how
so they
interesting,
can see that.
because my trip to Africa was something that the gods and the goddesses put together for me. And this card is so African in nature. And she's giving birth right on the crown chakra of the elephant.
So there's something being born here or in process of gestation. But also in terms of tarot, that the Empress represents all of the court card queens as one being.
Okay.
So the Queen of Swords, the Queen of Wands, the Queen of Cups, the Queen of Pentacles are all contained within the Empress, the same with the kings in terms of the Emperor.
Okay.
But now we're going to go to the Masters, and these are the smart asses because they know. They know. They understand.
And they're okay with you calling them the smart asses.
Well, you know, I was really reluctant to work with them because I came in touch with a lot of tinfoil hat woo-woo people, ascended master people in the 90s, the New Age 90s. I mean, really, you want me to do what? Violet flame, what? Now, of course, I have purple hair.
Yeah.
So when they started
But it's very different than...
But I'll tell you this. They started showing up, and I was like, what? Yes, I know who you are. I'm not really interested. My people don't want to hear, because I deal with witches and pagans and gypsies. Oh, my.
Yeah.
So, but they're like, look, we will show you who we are. And little by little, they started, like, showing me stuff. Turn your head now, and there would be 1111. Like, I didn't frickin' know what 1111 meant anyway, right? So I've gotten to know them, and they're fun. They're funny because they know if they come at me with, you can't have your pudding till you eat your meat, I will walk the F away. So my masters,
you deal with authority pretty much the same way I do.
Well, I didn't come in to conform, obvi. So
Does
my
that
masters,
show in my chart also? Because I find it difficult to.
Your chart, we're going to need a bottle of wine to go through.
Okay. I find it difficult, impossible, to not be my authentic self.
Well, welcome to the end times, because it's the only way out is through. All right, my Masters of True Love, please, one card for Phoenix Redhawk, generally speaking, on the path of true love, floating on air. Girl, something's lining up here. Look, floating on air, you don't
That's
usually
so
have
sweet.
you don't usually have that floating on air experience with a family member where there's an intuitive risk and a warrior involved. Like, this wouldn't surprise me if this person had tattoos. Do you know what I mean? Like something that's really edgy, rebellious level of rebel. In other words, you're probably not going to fall for like an army general.
Ew.
Yeah, we see what I mean? Intuitive, instant. But somebody who's like been to hell and back, has the scars, made tattoos out of them, that kind of feel. Someone who can really match that for you. A real floating on air thing, but with truth and integrity, no bullshit.
I have to interject something,
Please,
okay?
go, go, go.
Did I tagged your name on a post on Facebook yesterday?
Okay.
I hope you look for it because it had a picture of a male witch.
I must have missed that.
I don't know how you missed it because I sent it to you purposely to have you bite your knuckles.
Well, then I will. Although I'm not much of a knuckle biter nowadays.
You will bite your knuckles on this one.
I'm a wand biter.
Yes.
Anyway.
So, and there are many people in my life that do have tattoo art.
Well, I'm just feeling like even their scars are beautiful, at least metaphorically speaking.
Yes.
Like what they've been through, their heart has been broken, but they still carry on. Yeah, let me see. And this is now, so here's you, here's them, and here's what's in between you, but here's the fun part. He said cracking his silver knuckles, which sounds like a weapon and should be. Tune me here. What do you want me
These
to
are
elucidate?
2019 brass knuckles, folks.
So what they want me to do, one of those, okay, so I'm going to take an angel card to clarify what's giving birth here in the Empress.
Okay.
So my angels, please, a clue, a tip, a hint, a clue, a tip, a hint about this Empress
Your mic.
card.
You need to fix your mic. It fell down.
Sorry. It committed something, but.
It committed dropsies.
Are we better? Thank you. Figures. What do we do here? You got the card of study, all right, that popped out there, and I'm going to take that because that makes an intuitive sense. But before I completely do that, my masters, you want me to pull one card here? What is being born here? What is this Empress card about? A clue, a tip, a hint. Intimacy. That there is a new level of intimacy being born here that is new to you, hence you must study it, but that it's intimacy and not just
They
necessarily.
can't hear me hissing at you.
Well, I get it, because how often when we are vulnerable was it necessary for us lifetime after lifetime to have that vulnerability betrayed or taken advantage of? Because keep in mind, the word boundaries didn't really even exist in the psychological context until, let's be generous, 50 years ago.
Yeah.
It's probably a lot shorter than that. So that idea of boundaries, if you said to your grandparents, oh, you're invading my boundaries, they would think you were talking about property lines, right?
Either that or I would have gotten a rolling pin on my behind.
Yeah, right, hello. We didn't have that conversation. You didn't even discuss your political affiliation back then. Like
No,
whether
you
you were
really
Democrat
didn't.
or, no, you didn't. You certainly didn't tell anybody if you were in therapy. Now it's like first date stuff. Oh, yes,
Do you
I'm
know
in
what's
therapy. Are you
interesting,
in
though?
therapy?
I was talking to my surviving sister, who, bless her heart, will be 80 next month.
Blessed be.
And we were talking about our mom, who was a solitary practicing witch, and she would do card readings for all the neighbors with a regular deck, blew people's minds. But
yeah.
having her for a mother was a trip and a half. And they had a group of friends, which were really fascinating back in the 50s and early 60s, that they were a mix of Republican and Democrat. And these people would get together a couple of times a month at each other's houses, Bagels and Lox group, that's what they was called.
Sounds fabulous.
And they could sit down and talk politics and still love each other and respect each other.
Well, and therein lies the divine feminine of the Democrat and the divine masculine of the Republican. The passive narcissist Democrat, the aggressive narcissist Republican,
Yeah.
and they're just working it out. And they're either going to destroy each other completely or find some middle ground in order to move
Hopefully
forward.
to go and learn from their predecessors that were able to have this ebb and flow of conversation.
Well, here's what I'm hearing, that get with the quantum model, that there is a planet Earth that's already burned out post-Cuba Missile Crisis. that one's already gone, right? So, like, I'm still here. I'm still here. Sorry. Just had a Broadway moment there, little follies going on there.
No can right now, baby.
So feeling this for you. Oh, okay, we didn't even touch this deck yet. So what we're gonna do, so if you can get that there's a truth and integrity thing in this relationship, it certainly does feel
this
romantic,
relationship
intimate.
means a romantic
It doesn't feel business, particularly if there's study and intimacy going on, where it's something that's birthing inside of you, a desire for a more balanced, honorable intimacy. That's relatively new on the planet. I mean, that's the story that movies are made of.
Yeah.
So, well, particularly with a warrior and a gambler, it feels like you both might be up for it, but that's why we got these cards. Now, these cards were gifted to me by the owner of the Magic Moon in Saratoga Springs.
You had a great time.
Veronica.
I'm going to have to go visit that place.
They're so great. I mean,
you
I
did
was
that
there.
video there? What a cool, fun place.
Magic Costco, folks. Just go. I love them.
Magic Costco.
They're so much fun.
Do they have an online shop also?
You know, I don't think they do. I think they're mainly retail, but you never know.
Okay.
Veronica is a Leo with a Taurus moon, so if she wants to do it, it'll happen.
Yeah.
And her daughter Alexis is pretty damn cool too. I mean, all of them there were fun, and I read for hours and hours and hours.
You had a
there.
great
Had a field
time.
day. I did. Paid a credit card bill.
All right.
I love getting paid for what I do. All right. So this is called the Whispers of Love. And this one, I was like, all right, let's give it a shot. And it makes me cry. Don't
Don't you dare make me cry today.
I know, we're in mascara.
I'm new and wearing makeup again.
No.
Yeah.
You know, I had to put on pressed powder and mascara, otherwise I'm
Yes.
shiny and you can't see my eyelashes. No fun.
Mine either.
No, you got it.
Mine is still blonde.
It's not a RuPaul's Drag
And now
Race
that
moment.
now that
It's
I could
doing
see how to
business.
do it, it's great.
That must have been fun
I
before.
can't even imagine what my makeup looked like when I
We're
was
never gonna get
blind
this.
for a couple of years.
God got us all that is. Please, one whisper of love here for this, my friend, my sister. Phoenix Redhawk, where she is on the path of true love in general. This one
Oy vey, where are we?
shows simple acts of kindness. A simple act of kindness can energize you and bring happiness to those around you.
I love that.
Pretty card, right? So you don't, so what's the gambling risk here for you in that? It's like, oh, let me hold a door open for somebody.
Easy.
Don't even have to say a word. They're simple acts of kindness because we know we can say things that sound nice, but have venom sacs in back ready to discharge. Ooh, I said discharge. Okay.
Along with venom. Would you like an apple now or later?
I watched American Horror Story Apocalypse. I'll pass on the apple. Because I'm watching that with my past life son. You know, this retrograde brought back like a son from another life for me. I was his mother. I was a bad mother, and just as in that life, I'm not exactly sure who his father is.
Okay.
So,
This is a Jerry Springer or a Maury show.
reincarnational Jerry Springer paternity testament. Well,
That would be a hoot and a half. Yes.
well,
it
just
would.
you got a pendulum.
I do.
You are the father.
You are. Yes.
God got us all. That is, please, one whisper of true love card here for the warrior, for the divine masculine in this situation. Just a clue, a tip, a hint. Be supportive. Make a genuine effort to show you care. Now, what I love, I'll say
Wow.
that to the camera.
They are beautiful.
They really
beautiful
are very
cards.
pretty cards, but the words are simple. They're not, you know,
Yes.
over intellectual. So if you're showing acts of kindness and he's being supportive, you can really be doing this not just with each other, but together for others. And that gives a different type of intimacy with all of humanity.
Yeah.
I am so nice to like anybody who works in food service. Number one, they can screw with your food if you're not.
That's right.
I
Yeah.
could never. I'd be in jail. I'd be hexing people's coffee. I'm a good coffee.
Yeah, no,
whiz.
I could never be a wait person or anything like that.
People were rude to me. I would touch their eggs. Paula Poundstone. God bless you, Paula
Yes.
Poundstone, wherever
Yes.
you are. I love it. Oh, female comics. Female comedians, I don't even know what to call it anymore. We got one more card, last card down.
Okay.
God got us all. That is, please, one card overview for both this divine masculine and divine feminine in this true love relationship. Just a clue, a tip, a hint. I feel you. Choose love. You always have a choice as to what you should do. So this is yes, something that you have choice in. It's not so written in stone that you can't say no. But I got to tell you, there's no tower card here. There's no earthquake. This is not necessarily something, sure, there's a gamble here, but it might be more of a gamble of my head is saying no, but my gut is saying yes, and my heart is going, can we take it slow? Can we take it slow? Do we gotta marry him tomorrow? And your head's like, screw that. And your
Run
second
away,
chakra's
run
going,
away.
Eat him alive. I get it.
Ryan is now falling down in the production booth.
Hi, Bri.
No, Rye.
Rye, sorry.
And Bri. Who is Brian?
Well, maybe
Okay,
that's for you, not me. Well, so is there anything you'd like me to clarify on this? Anything that hits you is like, can I get another card on that? Because you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
So
you
me
got 10
being
cards.
the gambler, I understand that because I do take chances in life.
Sure.
Because I don't know any other way.
And it feels like these simple acts of kindness might feel like a gamble, particularly if this guy isn't as emotionally expressive as you would like him to be. As divine masculines tend to be, a little reserved, a little holdout until shit explodes, and then
So
they let
can you
know.
describe him more for me and anyone else watching this?
So in terms of getting like an identity and stuff like that, that's the thing about.
No, I don't want to. I just
want to say this for
attributes.
people who want. This is
Okay.
different than a regular relationship reading in that the path of true love is a mystical path, which means it's mystery based, meaning that the gods know, the angels know, it's all programmed into the quantum hologram of life on planet Earth that you incarnated into. You were chosen to play this role. This person was chosen to play this role. What would be the point of knowing how the play ends? Or knowing how the game ends while you're in it? You have to forget that stuff before you come in.
Gotcha.
So for me, tell me who this person is. It's like, well, I can try, but they're not going to let me.
All right, now I don't want to know who he is. I really don't want to know who he is. But
So this is what
what
we'll
are
do.
his attributes?
Well, I got the master, not the master cards, that's probably copyright violation. This is the Love Pack by Chuck Spezzano, very Course in Miracles based. It sounds pretty, the Love Pack, except it's got cards in it like old wounds. I call them the womp womp cards.
The
so
womp
it's like
womps.
they're womp womp. little Debbie Downer there. But they're helpful. They're helpful
Yeah,
to show.
because it's not a person. It's not a physical presence. It's attributes,
Yeah.
especially when you get to be my age.
All right, so here we go. My Masters of True Love, OG, here we go. Please, one card, an attribute that she will be able to identify this divine masculine in her life. Well, very lucky. Oh, I'm sorry, I keep forgetting to do this. The card of luck, all right?
So he's lucky that he's met me, is that it?
Well, this might be somebody
being
who
obnoxious
has
now.
no, but this might be somebody who's like escaped by the skin of their teeth so many times that you go like, you're lucky. How
How'd
did
you
you
make it?
survive that? How did you undergo that? But that's a warrior for you. It's a thing of the
Okay.
soul. I mean, for the warrior to actually like focus on honor and service and courage in their own personal lives is what will keep them off battlefields in general.
Good.
Hopefully. Because you can have a battlefield at Starbucks and at the bank and in the restaurant too.
Yeah, you definitely can.
So another quality, please. You gave us a light. Can you give us a little something that she'd be able to identify this divine masculine by? Oh, 2 cards. 3 cards. A true love. You're screwed. You got the true love card.
Interestingly, because I thought I had my true love in Scott, but he's my guardian angel now.
Well, and he's got sensuality, so it's going to be physical, but you'll know him by his heartbreak. Now, heartbreak is specific. Heartbreak, everybody's had their heart broken, but because they had expectations.
Yeah.
And that's why my prayer is, blessed be with no attachment to outcome from me. Blessed be, blessed be, blessed be, because that's true love. True love really is, okay, if I'm supposed to be with this person, so mote it be. Praise God, hallelujah, pass the mascara, I'm down. But if not, if this is somebody who I'm supposed to learn from, experience, help in some way, that's fine too. But I want them to be happy and healthy and wealthy and wise with or without me, which is why they're telling me to clarify these terms. Now, I just did a video on this. I sent it to you last night.
Yes.
This video I did called Clarifying Twin Flames, Soulmates, and True Love.
And you all have to watch it because it is amazing.
Well, it's just because I know what those terms mean for me. I've had it clarified in the past year or so because I thought...
it makes so much sense because you find people throwing around the phrase, oh, he or she is my twin flame, oh, he or she is my soulmate.
And it's like interchangeable, and they're not the same
it's
thing.
not interchangeable, and
There are no
I
product
will
placement.
not explain it I will let you do that because you made so much sense of it for people that really are getting it tangled up, and they get adamant in
and
their
confused.
and their ego, and they get angry when you say, no, this is not soulmate energy. This is
So let's look at it this way.
Go.
This is my interpretation. When
Yes.
I read, this is the language I read with. Just like every tarot reader or card reader is going to have different interpretations that come to them throughout their career. Otherwise, just get a book and stick to the book, right? You're always going to expand your field of correspondences and meanings. So to me, and I learned this from Matt KAHN, KAHN. Find him on YouTube. He's a Hay House author. I keep saying this, he's younger than me, he's wiser than me, and he's funnier than me. And I'm like, okay. And I said to the master, I'm like, how come? And then they told me why. I was like, okay, I won't trade. He's been through worse than I have.
Yeah.
Because that's how it is.
Yeah.
All of us are running away from our traumas and our triggers, and yet they're the very things, the grain of sand in the belly of the oyster that makes the pearl
That
of
makes
wisdom.
that beautiful pearl. Yeah.
Yeah, so that being said.
That's interesting.
So twin flame, I love it because Matt KAHN gives it with alliteration, which is my jam. Twin flames are turbulent. The chaser and the runaway, the push and pull, but flames, like they're hot and they're passionate, but they are supposed to transform you in the sense that these relationships teach you how to heal yourself. That no matter how strong the attachment or the connection is, they can't give you what you need, and you can't give them what they need.
Bottom line.
Like my dad, I love him, God bless you, Kenny. My dad now crossed over for more than half my life. We were truly twin flames. I could never be the son he wanted me to be, and he could never be the sane father I needed him to be. But because of that relationship, I went into understanding psychology and self-help. And You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay, 1986, 87?
Yes, the rainbow cover book.
Absolutely, the original cover. So twin flame, you can get that. And we have tons of twin flames, and they are essential to mirror us back to ourselves.
And you cannot avoid them, and don't try to avoid them, please.
It's like whack-a-mole, if that still exists.
I don't know.
Push one down, another one pops up. It's like not at home, then at work. Not at work, then in your romance. Not in romance, then, so you just can't. So, but they're contracts.
Yeah.
And just because somebody's your twin flame doesn't mean they're somebody else's twin flame. Soulmate. Read Jess Stern when I was 18.
Did you know how you just rolled your eyes beautifully? You just...
It's hereditary. I get it from my mother. I can hear my mother's eyes rolling from Saratoga some days, usually when she's thinking about me. So, you know, I'm the fun one. So soulmates are satisfying. Soulmate relationships, you help each other heal. That's why I've said I've had more soulmates probably than I've had twin flames, because I have friends. Reason, season, or lifetime, I've had friends.
Yes.
Like my relationship with my parents, very soulmatey. Soulmatey, right? Very, very satisfying, very much we help each other heal. There's not that same tension there. The thing about soulmates is they don't necessarily have that whiz-bang like the twin flame does. So that whole ongoing drama of women saying, oh, he's too nice.
Yeah, they do say that.
Because what they're not ready for the satisfying, they want to be set on fire. But fire is the element of transformation. Twin flames are supposed to burn. What makes you go from cookie dough to cookie. And it sucks. I'm sure being in that oven, I think that is a Matt KAHN metaphor. I love that one. I almost fell off my couch with that one. He's good. Like, he's
I'm going to have
really
to look
good.
into him.
And he's a sweetheart. You could tell his heart is open. And you know what? I always say I would make a horrible journalist because I always reveal my sources. Like, I'm not saying I invented this stuff. There is stuff that comes through me, this Path of True Love thing. Sure, the book that I'm working on, personal but boiled down wisdom from the point of view of a witch. Right? Anyway, so we really have the opportunity to then look at twin flame and soulmate and say, oh my God, every relationship I have has been a pre-incarnational agreement for me to either learn how to heal myself or to help me learn how to heal another. Why? Why all that curriculum over and over and over again, right? Get rid of one, they send you another one just like them. Issues like tissues. Pull out, there's another one just like them right underneath it, right? Because I believe we're headed towards this third category called true lovers. And the thing about it is you need a lot of twin flames and certainly a lifetime of supportive soulmate satisfying relationships, so that through the transformation, healing process, growth, loving what rises, forgiving, blessing, the whole nine, that you become the divine love. That the 8th chakra, if you like, twin flames can be very lower 3 chakras, physical world.
Okay.
Sex, money, power, security, self-esteem issues, right, all of that.
Everything that could make you sick to your stomach.
Sure. Soulmates tend to be heart, throat, third eye, and crown. They can be very spiritual and very companion. We could talk about anything. We haven't seen each other in decades. We picked up just where we left off.
Right.
Very soulmate. True lovers feel like it's up here, the 8th chakra, the upper room, the star center, the soul center. I've heard it called 10 billion different things, the home of the archetypes. That's the 5th dimensional consciousness that now has to be anchored through the crown, the third eye, the throat, the heart, the solar plexus, the sacrum, the root, into our conduct and into our relationships. And that's what is, and here's the words they keep giving me, destroying the patterning of the 3rd dimensional illusion of separation. Not that we're all going to be amoeba person, but that a lot of the turmoil that we're seeing on the planet, the racism, the corruption, the us versus them, which we've been under long enough, that this is a true aid to that, to kind of infect the quantum field with unity consciousness, 5th dimensional consciousness. And I'll be the first to say, this dimension stuff sounds woo-woo, timey-wimey to me. I am a witch to my lovely buckled loafers without socks.
I'm glad you didn't call them what I called them earlier.
Well, I know my pimp shoes. I don't mind.
I called them his pimp shoes. Yeah. No, they'd have to
Witch
be pointier.
Yeah. Really good for getting over chain link fence, though. Not that I've had to
But
recently.
we won't talk about why he had to climb over the chain link fence.
No, no, no. Oh, no, your wife is home. Nope, not me, not me. Not in the past 10 years or so. And also to keep our sense of humor, because if you get that, oh, this is what I signed up for. I came into this life. So all of these, as my mother would say, hard luck schlep rocks that I have dated, is a very specific
I like the way she
reference.
did that.
That they've all been not for a reason, but for a purpose. That everything that happens to us is for the soul to grow, to heal, to evolve, so that we can fulfill our role in the divine plan. So everything is happening for the soul. The personality doesn't have to like it. The personality can say, I want to torch this down. This sucks. This is horrible. This is painful. But here's the thing. If you're a first wave, you're not just purifying and healing your own emotional body. You're healing it for the collective of all life, including the 2nd waves and the 3rd waves.
Yeah.
So all of your pain and suffering is not for naught. It serves a purpose, but if you keep identifying with the victim position, if you keep identifying with the pain, it's like, here's the image they give me, it's disgusting, but it makes sense. It's throwing up these emotions, feeling the relief, and then swallowing it all right back in again and saying, I have suffered. Passive narcissist.
And as you're talking about that, I heard this ages ago, in this lifetime though, is that you're a victim, you're a victim, you're a victim, and then you realize you've been a volunteer.
Bless you.
And because there are people, and we all know them, and maybe at times it's been me or whatever, that you're just doing the same thing over and over again, and there's this dark cloud over your head, and why are all these relationships like this, and why is this that?
Give me a minute. I'm looking for a card for you to read. Keep going. Where are you?
If you keep doing the same thing, expecting different results, that is the definition of insanity. And there was someone that you and I mentioned as we were chatting yesterday.
Read that.
And
read that card.
I will in a second.
Yeah.
And there is someone that we both know. That we both have an aversion towards. And this person is doing the same thing at the same time of year, again, expecting a different result, which costs them relationships, costs them business relationships, costs them intimate romantic relationships, and costs them a truckload of money.
But here's the thing.
They did not learn from the first go-around, which many of us don't learn from the first.
And that's what I wanted to interject, that according to my guides, take your time. The game will recorrect itself. If they want you to turn left and you're like, no, I always turn right, they will just give you a couple more rights until you get there. That's what I mean. The game is self-correcting. And you know, I call it multi-dimensional chess of the gods. The gods game, G-O-D-S apostrophe plural.
3-level chess, like the Big Bang
But
Theory.
multi-dimensional chess, like in all these different quantum
Yes.
threads. So that's why I wanted you to read that card.
Okay.
And that is the victim archetype.
Light attribute. Prevents you from letting yourself be victimized or victimizing others.
Right, good to know.
And the print is difficult to read because
Yes.
it's very,
But you
very
have new
light,
eyes.
but I'm doing
See
great.
it with new eyes.
Shadow attributes. Playing the victim for positive feedback in the form of pity, inability to maintain personal boundaries. My goodness.
Good old Carolyn
Yes.
Mace.
Oh,
Read
she's
sacred
really,
contracts. Read
I still
sacred
have that
contracts,
on the bookshelf with
Every-
little post-it and stickums in
But
it.
everybody has the child, the victim, the saboteur, and the prostitute archetypes. It's part of the
Yes.
survival family, so we're all purging this. So what better than a governmental system falling down so that we feel like victim, victimizer is in play? Our personal relationships, interrelationships. Look at the drug abuse. That's a part of it too, because if you've been feeling victimized and you're self-medicating. So look, I always tell people, go to your doctor, go to a therapist, go to a counselor. Make sure the MD stuff is covered.
Right.
Don't just come to me and expect me to lay hands on you, touch your chakra, and poof, all your stuff is going to go away.
And people
No.
do that. A woman had
Doesn't
come
work
to
like
the
that.
Reiki circle, maybe 2 years ago. And she loved the group, and it's a really good, solid group. And she called me. She wanted a private Reiki session. I said, okay, fine. It was when I was linked up with the SUA Center before Dr. Ugelmeyer moved out. And I said, okay, Saturday, blah, blah, blah time. She goes, good, I can't wait to see you so you can heal me.
Doesn't work like that.
And it was like, no, I don't do that.
But it used to work like that. It doesn't work like that anymore.
No, that
because
verbiage
the personal
just,
responsibility.
it's like, this is what you have created. This is your path. What I can give you, the tools that I will take out of my tool bag and share with you so you can make adjustments. You could have that little wrench, that
Yeah.
screwdriver, that pliers. I will share with you the tools, but I didn't make your mess, baby, and I can't clean up your mess.
And
people will call you or me and ask for spells. And
I'll
we
give
both-
it to you, but I am not responsible
I
for
am
what
not.
you do
I
with
will
it.
not
Yeah.
do a spell for someone. I will talk to them. Usually, the one that I did share, one of the simple ones, a number of years ago. It's my very closest friend. It was her daughter, who's like a daughter to me, and she needed to cut cords, and I wasn't there to physically, which we both felt was important to do the cord cutting physically with each other for this person that was a very dangerous person. So I told her, I think we talked about it once, on the count of one, spells begun, and you could do one of those. You could even Google spells, but she needed to do it. She needed to cut the cords from this person. There's also one where you can write the person or the situation's name down, burn it in a flame, saying certain words, like Mark said, make it your own. Create your own words of power. So they then burn this in the flame, flush it down the toilet, do whatever.
Been there, done that, have
it's
the
like
charred Scott
on Yom
tissue.
Kippur. Since I've been a young child, on Yom Kippur, highest holy day of the Jewish religion, we always went to the ocean or a moving body of water, and in the form of pieces of bread, threw our sins away. So when I was married to the person that I call Mr. Icky, who shall remain nameless, who does have a name now, but I don't want to put it on the air. It wouldn't be fair. And I do wish him well, happiness and health far away from me. And it's perfect. We were at the beach one Yom Kippur, and he wanted to partake, and it's like, of course. So when myself and all the kids were throwing our sins away, the breeze came and everything went away. He stood at the surf, and as he threw his sins away, the wind changed 180 degrees and blew it all back in his face.
And
It was fascinating
and-
to watch. We didn't, it wasn't funny. It was fascinating to watch how the guides and the guardians say, you're not done with this. You're not sincere about this. So you still have to work. That was my take on it. You still have work to do on it. There's no throwing it away. You can't get rid of it.
It doesn't
like
work
that.
like that anymore. Scapegoats don't work. And that's why the path of true love for me is kind of revelatory to me on the day-to-day. That I'm healing so much when people trigger me that I'm no longer walking around like a victim saying, don't trigger me, don't trigger me, don't trigger me. I'm like, go ahead, what you got, hit me. I've already been crucified. I've almost lost my company a bunch of times. I've had my heart broken more than most because I risk more.
Yeah.
But to get that there is a higher context, that there is a higher purpose that actually serves the well-being of all as a witch, that's what I signed up for. And that's why I do the readings.
Yeah.
And, you know, my last book, Words of Grace, is doing pretty well.
Excellent.
And I would recommend, because you reviewed it.
Yes.
I would recommend people get it because it's a good prep. It's like a good yoga stretch before
when
the
you
path of
come
true
on
love.
again, bring it with you.
Sure, sure.
All right?
Yeah, we'll talk Words of
because
Grace.
what I'd like to do with Words of Grace is just close your eyes and open and point your finger stuff.
It's good stuff. Good.
I know we only have a couple of minutes
Yeah.
left. Would you let people know how to reach you?
Oh, sure. You can find me on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter. But the easiest way is through my website, drawingthecircle.com. And this is why I chose the name, drawingthecircle.com. Look, you got a visual mnemonic device right there. And there, that might not be going clockwise for you. Maybe it is now. I don't know. I can't see in the monitor. So drawingthecircle.com, Mark A. Lyons. I'm in Holbrook. I've got a Facebook page, Drawing the Circle. But really, go to my YouTube channel, Drawing the Circle on YouTube. You'll see me.
Yeah.
You'll get it to me. And I'm having a field day with this stuff. And if we could end with a little bit of prayersy-waresy something.
Go.
Here we go. Take a deep breath real quick. Dearest God, Goddess, all that is, may all who are on the path of true love, known or unknown, seen or unseen, be blessed with all that they need on the path of true love, that they may grow, heal, and become the best that they can be for the highest good of all concerned. Thank you. So mote it be.
So mote it be. And we're still on for a little bit. So on air, I want to thank you so much for coming on.
It's always so much
It's
fun.
so much fun. And you have even become more than when we first met. What did
Nothing
we
like
meet?
a Phoenix transformation.
Oh,
Here's
my
how I
gosh.
lost the weight. Every time you go to Ash and Rise, take less ash.
Take less
Kick ash!
And we do kick ash.
You and I and a bottle of wine would be a lot of fun to do.
And
a
we're
show.
going to do that.
We should do that here as a show.
The next show, we're going to have a
get drunk.
bottle of wine. And this is so interesting because, and we might be cut off while I'm saying it,
Good.
because I am 73, Goddess and God willing, 74 this coming December, and never really thought that there was a love interest coming in. And it's really kind of cool, and I still have choices
And you
to say yes
still,
or
right?
no.
You can choose love, but take the risk, girl.
You know I'll take the risk.
Thank you so much for having me today.
And thank you so much. It's always enlightening, entertaining, great fun, and I get such wonderful feedback, you know.
Cool.
And hopefully you could post this on your YouTube channel.
Yep.
And I want to thank everyone for supporting the show. And when you see me in the store, that you say you watched the show and you loved it, and how do you get in touch with Mark, and how do you do this? We are here to help you, to inform you, to educate you, and to show you that you could stretch out, you could blossom, and you could learn something. Each time you watch the show, there's somebody new. And even if it's somebody that's been on before, watch the show, you'll hear something. And if you could share that with someone else, a word of wisdom from Mark, Joe, myself, Isabella, any of these amazing people that take the time to be on the show. I thank you all so much for being supporters, and you can catch us on LTV, do the drop-down screen, and watch us on channel 115 on Wednesday mornings and channel 20 on Monday mornings at 9 o'clock. And now for the next few seconds, just close your eyes and visualize all of the beautiful angels, guides, and guardians that are here with you, for you. Enjoy the journey. Don't even worry about your destination. Enjoy the journey. It's beautiful, it's sacred, it's blessed, and have a good old time. Thank you.